The landscape of real estate has obviously changed, and on this channel we talk a ton about kind of mindset and ideas. This is pulling back the curtain just a little bit, talking about virtual showings and all the uses, right? This is almost a lead generation format used by some, but can be an absolutely amazing, massive value add. And we're going to talk about that next. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane with the Real Estate Agent Playbook. Today, I'm giving you a very tactical idea and a way to leverage your time into not just, maybe a YouTube video or an Instagram post or whatever, but using it to give a value add to your clients. And I'm super excited about that. If you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast with any of your favorite real estate agents. We're working to grow both communities simultaneously, to just be a resource to help agents win every single day at the game of real estate. So let's get into it. The virtual showing, this absolutely blew up during COVID, and it's literally anything from actually setting a showing, walking through a property, showing somebody on the other end live or video, and downloading it and sending it across, to them to kind of view. You're saving them a ton of time in that instance. However, people are leveraging this for YouTube channels, for Instagram. You can absolutely put it on a Facebook group of something with buyers. You can send it out to buyers and say, hey, I was just touring this house today. If you want to check it out, let me know. And you can use this almost as a marketing strategy. And so my point is today, a lot of times we're like, okay, I need to do a property tour, virtual tour for my YouTube channel. Or, I have this buyer that, we're touring around, and they're in, I actually had a buyer in China once, and we did a lot of live showings and whatever with that video. Technology is so apparent, but are we leveraging our time when we're doing this? And so today I want to kind of dive into that. So let's talk all things virtual showing, and we can kind of go from there. First and foremost, what you need. It's nice to have a nice microphone with a wind blocker for sure, but definitely not needed. You can obviously talk inside the house if it's windy out and whatever. And then your cell phone, right? A cell phone has such a great camera on it these days that you can absolutely utilize that piece. It's not like you need a big professional videographer, whatever, anything there. You can use a cell phone to do that. One nice thing to go along with a cell phone is a gimbal. A gimbal is basically a handheld device that keeps it level. You can walk upstairs without, getting it shaky and doing all those things. But they are very useful in that if you're going to get into this space, if you're using, it for YouTube and that kind of stuff, it's absolutely an easy $100, tool that you can use that will help leverage and you will get your use out of it. And so all of those things literally under, you all have a cell phone, so I hope you do if you're running a business, but the added extras, lighting, anything you need, probably, under $250 total if you get the really nice kind of options there. So that's first and foremost. Maybe a little lapel mic like these DJIs that I have that are really good. This piece plugs straight into the phone, and this piece just clips onto your lapel. So that's really nice. There's a ton of cheaper versions than this DJI, but those are kind of the tools you need. So at the end of the day, it's a fairly cheap lead generation tactic if that's what you're going to use it for. So let's talk about the preparation and permission. First things first is if you're going to video anybody's belongings, anybody's home, certainly get permission from the listing agent or your client if you are the listing agent. So understand that that's absolutely massive. Understand that, this day and age, people have cameras and things, so don't try and, sneak one off. Essentially just have the conversation, be truthful. Hey, I'm, gonna video this property for a potential showing, or hey, I'm gonna video this property and feature it on my YouTube channel, to help you with marketing. I'll tag you, I'll name you as the listing agent, whatever you have to do to follow the MLS and your local board's rules, please do that. But even if your rules are a little bit outside, I would absolutely get that permission, get it in writing, send a simple text. Some people are going to say yes, some people are going to say hell no, right? And that's what it is. And so I think you just move on to the next as you go, right? New builds commonly, will say, no, you can't distribute it. And, sometimes, but if you say, hey, I'm just going to get this, I'm going to walk through this. I have a ton of buyers. I'm going to throw it up on my YouTube channel and so they can have access to it. Usually they'll let it go. So I'm not here to coach you on that, but make sure that you are having permission. The next thing is preparation, right? This is absolutely huge. And especially when you're getting on live and doing that, it sometimes gets sped up. So make sure that you're capturing everything that you need to capture, right? I have a client who, we videotape the road behind them and all the things, and he feels like it was louder than he expected. Well, that's the key, is you probably do want people to come and see the property before their, contingencies are up. In the event, maybe their perception of a loud, noisy road is way different than yours, right? I always have my clients go to the property multiple times at different times of the day so that they can have that access. Well, on virtual showings, that's tough. But please make sure that you're, scanning the neighborhood, scanning the front, scanning the back, noting where it's located geographically across from a school or whatever. So make sure you're doing that. But when you're live, it's kind of hard to remember all that. So make a checklist and be like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do the interior. We're going to do the exterior. Then I'm going to take a walk down the block and, we can have a conversation. You can ask me questions. What's that? And make it more interactive if you have the opportunity and you're doing it live. If you're not doing it live and you're recording, certainly, and you're sending it for, somebody to potentially write a contract, you definitely want to document a lot of those things. If you're using it for lead generation, certainly here's the, sexy house, here's everything that's going on. This is kind of where it's at, whatever. And if you want private showing, right? Typically, no one's going to click on your YouTube channel and be like, hey, write a contract on that house for me. I'll sign here. So it depends on kind of where your audience is and where it's going, but make sure that you have a checklist to have it all, right? Doors, stairs. Please don't fall down the stairs while you're doing this. So I typically like to walk the property first, make sure it's, show ready, make sure that you're in that wide angle lens if you have that 15 Pro Max, and really provide a great experience and a comprehensive tour of the home when you're doing that. And then a lot of people will do, voiceovers outside. If it's windy outside, you can actually, show community pictures while you're doing a voiceover from your office with all this editing software. You can do a lot of things there. But the preparation is absolutely key in making sure that you're not missing certain things, especially if it's for a client who could potentially write an offer, today on that property. And then I highly suggest making sure people, smell it, feel it, whatever. Everybody's emotions are going to be different. Everyone's tolerance level is going to be different. So if you are writing a contract based on a virtual showing, that's my suggestion to you, whether it's coming to the inspection or, whatever, depending on the circumstance. That's absolutely the case. So obviously we've talked about some do's and don'ts, the preparation, the permission. And I think how you distribute it is absolutely, a professional piece of the pie, and making sure that it's not, showing as your listing and all the things. You don't want to make some of the real estate agents mad. Some of the people have been in it a while by not giving, credit where credit's due. So make sure you're doing that. But ultimately, it's a great way to kind of leverage. If you're at a property, quick story. All of this, so make sure that you're understanding that you do need permission to post, personal belongings onto the internet. I don't want you to get in trouble there. There's all kinds of stuff, drone footage, all of the things. Just make sure you're having conversations. And the truth is, having these conversations will only better your skills, right? If you have to have a conversation with a neighbor, hey, we're going to do some drone footage of the listing, maybe you get another listing, right? Or hey, here's my card. If you have any issues with the showings or someone blocks your driveway at an open house, please call me and I'll make sure I take care of it. Just providing that top-notch level of professionalism through these conversations when you're obtaining permission, right? We talk a ton on this channel about, conversations over leads. This is an opportunity to have more conversations. Just explain what you're doing, right? Knocking on a neighbor's door and saying, hey, we're going to do some drone footage. Just wanted to make sure you knew that. Do you have any concerns? Whatever, let me know. And it's just an opportunity. Oh, you're doing drone footage for a real estate listing? That's super cool, right? Give me your card. When I list my house, I'm gonna give it to you. So I think that that's absolutely the deal. And then, the follow-up is key, right? And whatever we do, follow up. That's exactly kind of what I just walked you through with the door knocking. Follow up with those people. Say, hey, how's it going? If you have a conversation with the drone footage, definitely knock on their door and be like, hey, thanks so much for being cool and give us permission to do that. Your home wasn't really in it, but when we're thousands of feet in the air, certainly you probably see a car in the driveway or whatever. But this home just sold for over asking price. Just wanted to give you the full rundown of what happened. And here's my card if you ever need anything. Right. And so you're just building those relationships, and you're using, that first virtual showing, or, the marketing that you're using in order to explain to people and continue that conversation and then show the results, which is absolutely the key. Because even if you're doing a virtual showing, you're walking down the street, you're talking, neighbor says, hey, and you feel like, hey, I'm going to finish this up. I'll be right back. Go tell them what you're doing. Hey, I'm just saving my clients time from driving out to all these listings, because if they like it, they're going to pick 2 or 3. If they like them, then we're going to go see them in person, right? What a value add. Oh, that's really cool. I hate going to see 10 houses when I only need 1, right? And so you can just leverage this and leverage the technology to your advantage. And so if you have any questions about virtual showings, any best practices, things like that, I touched on most of them, but please reach out if you're interested in, seeing how you can leverage this more because you do it already. Book a game plan call with me. I'd be happy to chat with you. I hope you have a good one, and we'll talk to you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast. Let's go.